Everybody, hi, this is D.FINED at D.FINED Performance Solutions, and I'm here with Jason Lauritsen, and he is a keynote speaker and expert on all things employee and leader engagement companies, and I want to welcome you, Jason. Thank you so much for being here.
Hey, thanks for inviting me.
Sure. We're going to have a lot to talk about, and I'm really thrilled to get to know you a little better. So let me start, folks, with just a brief bio about Jason. He is a keynote speaker, an author, a consultant. He is an employee engagement and workplace culture expert who challenges you to think differently, and that excites me in itself. A former corporate HR executive, Jason has dedicated his career to helping leaders build organizations that are good for both the people and the profits. He also led a research team for Quantum Workplace's Best Places to Work program. So in that capacity, he had all kinds of opportunities to see thousands of companies as he did his work as an analyst. Jason is the author of the books Unlocking High Performance, How to Use Performance Management to Engage and Empower Employees to Reach Their Full Potential, and Social Gravity, Harnessing the Natural Laws of Relationships. So we'll talk about how people can connect to you in a bit, okay?
Okay.
So what we do is kind of a rapid fire round of about 7 questions. We're trying to knock them out in 9 minutes. So you ready to go?
I'm ready. I'm ready. Fire away.
Here we go. Jason, who do you work best with? Who are your ideal clients?
I would say that most simply put, it's organizations who are really committed to creating a great experience for their employees and have, maybe have found are stuck, right? That are or unsatisfied with sort of the traditional way of trying to tackle that. And so that tends to be, those kinds of clients. A lot of my, as you know, I do a lot of training and speaking and that kind of thing. So a lot of times I come, a client that sort of is stuck or needs a mindset shift around employee engagement or performance management usually is where I come in.
Cool. What's the problem, and I think you might have said this already, but can you go into a little bit more about the problem that you help them solve? Like they come to you with specific something?
I mean, usually it's things like, we're losing people we shouldn't be losing, or, we feel like our employee performance isn't working or isn't sort of at the level that it should be, or, we're doing the best we can, right? We've invested a lot, but it just doesn't seem to be like getting the result that we need around, employees stepping up or being more engaged, sticking around, really sort of elevating to their potential. So that's usually where the problems lie.
Okay. What do you think is a common mistake that people make when they're trying to solve those issues without your help?
I think the biggest challenge we have sort of broadly in the domain of employee engagement is we rely really heavily on best practice thinking, sort of some traditional approaches. So it's like, there's a lot of stuff out there. Like if you think about just sort of the most common phrase that comes up when you talk about engagement is people don't leave jobs, they leave managers, right? That Gallup put that in the water 20 years ago. And while there's some truth in that, it's not always that simple. And addressing that isn't also like just send your managers to a training class and everything will get better. Like that's the playbook we keep running, and it's just not working. It's not delivering in the way that it needs to. So we need to be thinking differently about how we're approaching these solutions. So I think it's a reliance on the old way of trying to fix this problem and ignoring the fact that the old way isn't working.
And it seems like the old way is multiplying in organizations with people that don't think in a different way.
Right.
So they're actually just reinforcing what they've always done, and how are they really going to make a change with keep doing the same thing, or even best practices. I've always kind of thought that best practices are best practices in the place that they're the best. And
right.
By copying best practices, it's like, well, maybe the way we're rigged in our culture, that's just going to be a non-fit. So,
yeah, for sure.
So what is something that the audience can implement today, if that will make a difference in your opinion?
Well, the place I always start with this is to make sure that managers are having regular one-on-one meetings with every employee they are responsible for at least once a month. And that in those one-on-one meetings, and they don't have to be, they don't have to be super long or super extravagant in terms of design, but it needs to be, managers checking in with their employees, managers asking questions and predominantly listening. The go-to question that I like, that I think makes those work, or at least is, if you're going to use one question, it is, what's the most important thing we need to talk about today?
Wow.
Right, that's it. Right, and let the employee tell you what's most important, because that way you're at least addressing the thing that matters most to them in that moment, on that day, in that week, whatever it is. So, pretty simple stuff, but I have seen over and over and over again that if you can get good quality one-on-ones happening, it fixes so many other issues.
Wow, that's awesome. That's the way the wind is blowing. Certainly, I'm just seeing it all over the place. That one-on-ones are just probably the key to everything.
Yeah.
So, from all your experience, what's the most valuable free tip that you could give? And maybe you just gave it, but
I think so let me offer this. I think that's an actual practical tip, something that you can do. What I would say is that the other sort of thing that I would offer up is, and this is sort of the central idea that's at the heart of my work, is that I, regardless of if I'm speaking or if I'm training or I'm working with leaders, the central idea that I want them to leave or to understand is that employees experience work as a relationship. And so, all of our engagement data tells us that it's feeling valued and cared for and trusted and being appreciated, and all of those things are what drives engagement, and those are relational things. And so if I can teach leaders and managers to understand that for employees, work is a relationship, and so we have to sort of approach it like a relationship to build relationship, and that most of our traditional management practice treats work more like a contract to be enforced.
Right.
Like, if we can get past that, if we can learn to just think about work as a relationship and treat it that way, it makes a huge difference.
Awesome. That is just brilliant. How can people learn more about you and your work? And do you have any free resources that you could point them to?
Sure. Well, for me, website jasonlauritsen.com is the easiest place to find me. You can also find me on LinkedIn and Twitter and lots of places. I try to be easy to find. That's the nature of the business, right?
Right.
So my website, and as far as free resources, I publish on my blog weekly. I have a monthly newsletter. You visit the website, you can find both of those and subscribe to those, and that's sort of a steady stream of content to help you think differently, and also to help you do differently as a leader who wants to create greater engagement.
Yeah, I saw your blog posts, and the titles are so intriguing to me. And then your Twitter feed, where you're kind of posting up different articles, and the titles of those articles are very, very interesting to people like us and people who want to amp up engagement. So thank you for posting all this. And the last words are yours, Jason.
I think it's an exciting time. I would say, if it's an exciting time to be in the work that we are doing, trying to build better workplaces for human beings, because I think we're just on the precipice of really understanding how to make work for the human being. And so this is an exciting time, and we need to be supportive of each other, and we need to sort of help each other. And so I am here, I do this work because I profoundly care about the impact of this work. And so I just would urge people, if they need help or resources or whatever, reach out, and I will help you if I can in whatever way I can.
That's beautiful. Jason, thank you again for your time. I know it was quick shooting here, but you gave us some powerful information, powerful answers. And I look forward to getting to know you a little better, and we'll keep up with you, okay? So keep up the great work.
Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.